Good day, everyone. I am Lovrinel Cabigues. So today, I am tackling about the primary source excerpt from the official report of Governor Esquerdo on the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. So this was taken from the documentary source of Philippine History, Volume 7. So first, let us know who is Governor Esquerdo. So Governor Esquerdo, or Rafael de Izquierdo y Gutierrez, was a Spanish military officer, a political leader and statesman who became a Governor General of the Philippines from April 4 to 1871 to January 8, 1873. He became the Governor General during 1872 Cavite Mutiny, which led to execution of 41 mutineers, including the Gomborza martyrs. So it seems definite that the insurrection was motivated and prepared by the native clergy, by the mestizos and native lawyers, and by those known here as abogadillos. So the instigator to carry out their criminal project protested against the injustice of the government in not paying the provinces further tobacco crop and against the usury that some practice in documents that the finance department gives crop owner who have to sell them at a loss. So during this time, they protested about the injustice of government by not paying the provinces for their tobacco crop. And also they have a document that gives the owner crop who have to sell them at a low price. So this event or this injustice was led to rebellion in a way of protesting the rights or in a way of protesting the government. So up to now, it is not still clearly determined if they planned to establish a government or monarchy, since the Indios or the Filipinos have no idea what the word to be described in such form of government, whose in Tagalog called hari. They would place into a government a priest, and they selected between Father Jose Burgos and Father Jacinto Zamora. So, until now, it is not still clear if what type of government they are planning to establish, if it is a monarchy, since the Filipinos back then do not know what is the specific term to call if you will if there if you will put in the position a hari. But in their case, they want to put a priest in the position. So it is not apparent that the accounts underscore the reason for the revolution. The abolition of privileges enjoyed by the workers of Cavite Arsenal, such as exemption from payment to tribute and being employed in polos y servicios, or the forced labor. So, what is polos y servicios? So, polos y servicios was practice employed by the Spanish colonizers for over 250 years that required forced labor to all Filipino males ages between 16 years old to 60 years old. And the workers could be placed on any projects that Spanish wanted, even how hazardous it is, and even if they are not physically conditioned, or even if there are unhealthy conditions that they are feeling. So, in Spaniard's account, the event of 1872 was premeditated. and it is part of the conspiracy among educated leaders, mestizos, lawyers, and residents of Manila and Cavite. They allegedly planned to liquidate high-ranking Spanish officers, then kills the friars. The signal they identify among this conspiration of Manila and Cavite was the rocket fired from Intramuros. So on the 20th of January 1872, District of Sampaloc celebrated the Feast of Virgin Loreto and showed some fireworks. The Caviteños allegedly mistook the fireworks as signal to commerce the attack. 200 men contingent, led by Sergeant Lamadrid, attacked Spanish officers at site and seized the arsenal. So, this time, the event that happened in Intramuros was just a misconception, because there is a feast celebration of Virgin of Loreto in Sampaloc, Manila, which the Caviteños mistook it or misunderstand it, because they think that it is a sign that it is time to attack the Spanish officers in Intramuros. So the revolution was crushed when Manileños who were expected to aid Caviteños did not arrive. So the revolution or the event that happened in Intramuros is dali ra siya nahuman because the Manileños did not arrive as gi-expect sa mga taga Cavite. Because sa akong giingon pa gani is it was just a mistook or a misconception. So Fathers Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora were tried by court-martial and sentenced to be executed. Joaquin Pardo de Tavera, Antonio Maria Rigodor, Jose and Pio Basa, and other Filipino lawyers were suspended from the practice of law, arrested, and sentenced of life imprisonment at Marianas Island. Unfortunately, on 17th of February 1872, the Gumborza were executed to serve as a threat to Filipinos never to attempt to fight the Spaniards again. So, the Gumborza was served as an example to all the Filipinos that not to fight against the Spaniards during this time. So, this second excerpt was from Pardo de Tavera's account of Cavite Mutiny. So, this is the view of Pardo de Tavera. So, who is Pardo de Tavera? Pardo de Tavera or Trinidad Hermenegildo Jose Maria Juan Francisco Pardo de Tavera Irigoricho, or also known as Pardo de Tavera, was a Filipino physician, historian, and politician of Spanish and Portuguese descent. So according to him, the incident was merely the mutiny of Filipino soldiers and laborers of the Cavite Arsenal. The soldiers and laborers of Cavite Arsenal, to the dissatisfaction of arising from draconian policies of Izquierdo, which the general saw as a smokescreen to the creating a political club. So for Tavera, the incident was between a Filipino soldier and laborers of Cavite Arsenal. So it is for him, it is because of they are not satisfied of the arising of draconian policies of Izquierdo, such as the abolition of privileges and the provision of the founding of a School of Arts and Trades for Filipinos, which is the general saw as a smokescreen to creating a political club. So for Tavera, the Spanish friars and Izquierdo used the Cavite Mutiny as a way to address other issues by blowing out of proportion of isolated mutiny attempt. So, um, ang opinion ni Tabera is, ang Cavite Mutiny was just gigamit lang siya sa Spaniards or the Spanish friars ug ni Izquierdo para mawala ang mga issue or ang katong gi review or gi protest sa mga Filipinos nga they are not paying their tobacco crops properly. So, the central government in Madrid had announced its intention to deprive the priors in this island of powers of intervention in matters of civil government and of the management of universities. So, back then, Philippines was part of in Spain, or we are being colonized by the Spaniards. So, we are part of the government of Madrid. So, the government of Madrid had announced that the priors have no right or they are not allowed to intervene the civil government of the Philippines and also of the managing of the universities. So because of that, the Cavite Mutiny was being used by the Spanish friars and Izquierdo. So, it was due to these facts that the promises that the Filipinos had a great opportunities and hopes to improve the affairs of this country. On the other hand, the friars feared that their power in the colony would soon be complete a thing in the past. So, just like what I've said earlier, that they only use the Cavite Mutiny because they are afraid that all their hardships, tanan nila gipaningkamutan is mabutang, it will put in vain. They don't want it to happen. So, they make an alibi, or they make the Cavite Mutiny as an alibi so that they won't lose their power in the Philippines. So, here are some summary reforms they considered necessary to introduce. First is changes in tariffs rate at customs and the methods of collection. Second is the removal of surcharges of foreign importations. Third is reduction of export fees. Fourth, permission for foreigners to reside in the Philippines, buy real estate, enjoy freedom of worship, and operate commercial transport flying the Spanish flag. Fifth is establishment of an advisory council to inform the Minister of Overseas Affairs in Madrid on the necessary reforms to be implemented. So sixth is changes in primary and secondary education. 7 is establishment of Institute of Civil Administration of the Philippines, rendering unnecessary and sending home of short-term of civil officials every time there is change of ministry. 8 is study of direct tax system. 9th is abolition of tobacco monopoly. So the arrival in Manila of General Izquierdo put a sudden end to all dreams of reforms. The prosecution instituted by the new Governor General were probably expected as a result of bitter dispute between Filipino clerics and the friars. So, this account or these reforms was before when General Scerdo created. So when General Scerdo arrived in Manila, this reform sudden end to all dreams, because the new governor general would probably expected as a result of bitter dispute of Filipino clerics and friars. So in March 1871, it should be the opening of Society of Arts and Trades in Manila to repress the growth of liberal teachings, but General Scerdo suspended the opening of the school the day previous to the scheduled inauguration. So, when General Scerdo arrived in Manila, the Filipinos had to render service on public roads, construction, and pay taxes every year. The employee of Maestranza of Artillery, engineering shops, and arsenal of Cavite were exempted from this obligation from time immemorial. So for Placho, the friars used the incident as part of larger conspiracy to cement their dominance, which has started to show cracks because of the discontentment of Filipinos. They showcase mutiny as part of a larger conspiracy in the Philippines by Filipinos to overthrow the Spanish government. Unintentionally, the Cavite Mutiny of 1872 resulted the martyrdom of Gumborza and paved way to the revolution culminating in 1898. So, even for Plaucho, he thought, or he think, or in his side, he think that the Cavite Mutiny was a large conspiracy to cement their dominance, to for the how do you call this, for the Spaniards to cement or to stick or to maintain their position, in the Philippines, since the Filipinos are starting to complain, or there are cracks that happens because of the discontentment of the Filipinos on how they on how they on how they run their government in the Philippines. So because they want to stay in their position, they use the Cavite Mutiny. They use the Cavite Mutiny for them to maintain their what they call this, their position in the government. So unfortunately, it resulted to the martyrdom of the three friars, the Gumborza. Thank you for listening and watching in my report. God bless.